Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Yasmeen, issue number 4 from Scout Comics. I'm digging these Scout Comics issues, man. I mean, I don't enjoy every single one of them, but I love that Scout is just like, let's try a bunch of stuff and just start throwing things. I'm enjoying it, man. I really am digging on it. Anyway, this issue, Yasmeen and her mom become superheroes. Let's dig into that. But first, let's give credit where credit's due. So we've got the creator and writer of Yasmeen, Saif A. Ahmed. We've got the artist Fabiano Mascolo, who I believe is quickly going to become one of the bigger artists in the comic book world. Letters by Robin Jones and script editor Travis Kazap. Probably butchering that name. I do apologize for any name that I butcher. Logo design, Tobin Rassicot. Probably going to have to extend that butcher name thing over there too. I apologize. So anyway, Yasmeen talking to her guidance counselor is a really good way to... I feel like it could have been a good recap of the story, a good opportunity to do that. I really dislike that there's no recap in here. I get it that very few people are going to jump on Yasmeen issue number 4 when they haven't read the first 3 issues also, but still, I would like to see a little bit of a recap, something along those lines, instead of just reading the whole story and getting a little bit here and there and like, wait, that happened? Just a brief paragraph. It's all that really needs to happen, right? Especially to clarify some things that perhaps were a little bit harder for people to follow along with, in the previous. Sometimes you leave something to the art and people don't really interpret the art, or you say something that the art seems to counter. So you never know. Anyway, there's a couple of, first off, the big thing here really is that Yasmeen has decided to walk around without her hijab. She figures it's too much of a distraction. The thing about girls taking off their hijab is that it's very hard to put it back on again. You know what I'm saying? It's like, here's a present, and you unwrap it. You say, this is a cool present, right? Yeah, it is. Okay, I'm going to put the wrapping paper back on again. Forget what you saw here. That's not really the way that it works. They don't... Scout doesn't give a whole bunch of images, so sorry. Let me just throw it. Here's the guidance counselor talking to Yasmeen. There's her hair. Oh my God, she's actually got hair. She's a human under that thing. Imagine that. Hanging out with their friends, and this one redheaded girl, the ginger girl. Of course, there's racism here. It's always so funny when they claim racism against a redheaded girl. Anyway, there's the comment about your hair is beautiful. You could go as Jasmine, which is fun. Jasmine from Atlantis. Another Scout comic. Atlantis wasn't built for tourists. Really good comic. Aladdin. So Jasmine, because Yasmeen actually means, I talked about that before, but they actually explained in this one. And oh, look, she actually did cosplay as Jasmine, but she did it for her slave owner back in the whole, the Yazidis. And yeah, really freaking bad. The one girl is pregnant, and she acknowledges that she confides that in Jasmine. But Jasmine has had to go into that place. I don't know if anybody here has seen... I like the Tarzan movies. I know it's weird. I like the old Tarzan movies. I like a lot of the old movies. And there's this one Tarzan version. I think it was the second movie ever made, but it was the one that had Bo Derek in it. And she's naked an awful lot in it, just saying. And they also use real animals in that one. And if I had to say one more compliment about the movie, it's that Michael Caine was actually in it. There's not a whole lot else going for that movie. But there was a scene in the very end where Michael Caine is shouting at, I think it's his niece. It's been a long time since I've seen this movie. And he's like, go away. Leave this place. Because she's about to get raped by a big dude. Leave this place. Just leave it. Go someplace else in your mind and forget it. And it's actually a really good speech. If I remember correctly, it was actually a really good speech. I was like, oh my God. Wow, this is actually terrifying, And this is pretty much what Yasmeen has had to do in this. She's had to become stoic. She's had to kind of leave her soul behind, or exit her soul, put it someplace, like a lich, if you're pronouncing it properly, because she can't feel anymore because it hurts too much to feel. Everything is just biting down into your own heart, and you can't live that way. So sometimes you have to let this stuff go. So she's walking into, what she's walking into, and she just does it coldly. The problem is she can't feel for others either now. So the girl says, I'm pregnant. I don't know what to do. And Yasmeen's just, I'm in my zone. I can't care. I can't care for myself. How am I supposed to care for you? But it's a survival instinct, I'm telling you, this book really delves deep into psychology. Like, it's a rough one, bruh. That's why I'm saying, like, it's such a good book, but you can't like it. Like, you can't say you like this book. It's a horrible reality, this book. So, when you start reading deeper into it, when you start getting into the later on parts, she comes across something somewhat similar, and she's trying to do a good deed here. The redheaded girl decides, I want to go out and hang out with this boy, but these particular boys that she's hanging out with are not good kids. They're young boys. They obviously weren't taught to value human life, and they take pictures of her while she's naked. There's actually only one picture, and it only spread between these three guys at first. But once something goes on the internet, it's never really gone. But they do the best they can, Yasmeen and her mom, in order to try and stop the picture from going out. Apparently, Safe knows more about all of these different virtual social media accounts than I do, because I just don't really care too much about it. Maybe I'd be advertised more if I actually knew how to operate if I knew how to work Twitter the appropriate way and whatnot. I don't really care. I look at this as the superhero moment where Yasmeen and her mom are trying to... Bad things happen to Yasmeen. You can't change those things, but maybe we can save this girl from this minor compared to what happened to Yasmeen. And mind you, we still don't know entirely what happened to the rest of this family. Minor to her, yet the most major thing ever to this girl. And while we may say, well, why didn't she help herself? Why didn't she go out and do this stuff? It's harder to do that when you're still deep in your emotions. Like, if somebody just gets robbed, it's hard to sleep in your house at night. If your house has been burglarized, it's hard to sleep in your... I know, because it happened to me once. It's hard to sleep in your house that night. You know what I'm saying? You keep on thinking, you keep on seeing the footprints of the people who came in, and it's like, is it safe? Don't they always return to the scene of the crime? Like, it's a messed up thing, So in this case, the girl is just, I imagine she's just shell-shocked, essentially, But as far as Yasmeen and her mom, I don't know, it's interesting to see them, like, they're trying to save this girl from a minor version of what happened to Yasmeen herself. And there's something very noble in that, which is why I say that it's super heroic. I like the thought that's put into this comic book. I like the energy that's put into this. Again, the art is exactly what it needs to be. If this were like a beautiful comic book where, you're actually paying attention to anatomy in every way, shape, and form possibly imaginable, it would just be like too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you start doing like airbrush and stuff, like it's not necessary. This is exactly what the book needs to be, so that you see what's going on, you understand what's happening, and everybody looks the way that you would imagine they should look. And it's very I think it was about this book that I mentioned before. You can actually tell people apart from each other, people you've never seen before. You know, you put Captain America and Quasar and, Wendell Vaughn and Clint Barton in a room. They're all blonde hair, blue-eyed white guys. Hey, throw Hank Pym in there also. He's not as big as the rest of them, but same thing. Oh my dad, they're the same. But here's a bunch of brown skin, black, long-haired women. They all don't look like each other. You can actually tell the difference between one and the other. There are age lines for the mom, There's a youthful exuberance for Jasmine. Well, in some of the images, and other times she's got to have shoulders slumped, yet chest out. Where it's like, I'm doing this, but I hate doing this. Like, I notice these things, and I love seeing these things in the comic book. But you can't slouch on the writing in this. This is a terrible story that no one can read this and just go, ooh, no, you got to look at this and be like, oh my God, this is so bad. Like it's that shy of hate reading, But in a weird kind of way, I'm enjoying seeing this, and I'm really looking forward to where this is going to go. Being able to explore what is essentially PTSD, life after rape, life after unlawful imprisonment, life after, it's not considered genocide. What the heck was ISIS considered? I don't know, the fall of a nation, essentially, This is a really good book. It's the reason why I keep going with this issue after issue. It's the reason why I keep on buying the issue, even though they send me the issues for free. Twice, technically. So, yeah, I'm glad that I jumped on this. I'm super happy that I just happened to catch the title. And I'm like, Yasmeen, that's an Arabic name. Let me check that out. And, oh, wow, that's a sensitive subject. I wonder how that's going to turn out. This book continues to impress me. I mean, I don't know how long this book can go for. I think that the worst crime that this book could do is to go past its tenure, go past where the story is and just start, But for right now, it's just, this book is in its stride, I'm just going to compare it with music. Just, we're in the guitar solo, man. That's it. I'm digging on it. Anyway, guys, go ahead and check out the book for real. If you're not reading this book, go and check out the book. Unfortunately, I don't see the books on any of the Scout titles. I don't see them on Comixology, which is criminal. That needs to change. I don't know how much it costs to get your book on Comixology, but I just hope that it happens. It's hard to get your hands on these books, but if your comic book shop has them, grab it. If not, go online. eBay, they have them, usually for cover price or just slightly over cover price. So check them out because they can be found. Or order directly from Scout. Or, hey, here's an idea. Actually ask your comic book store to carry the book, even if it's just one for you. I don't know if Scout will honor that, but there's a chance. So anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me. Go ahead and check these books out, man. I'm telling you, these are good stories. You want to read it in trade? No blame, no shame. But definitely make sure you don't commit the criminal act of not reading this. It's too good to not. Anyway, guys, because this could be happening all over the world. It just happens to be here. It happens to be with this. I'm out, guys. Like the video, watch an ad. Talk to you all later. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.